Good afternoon. This is Lisbeth Calandrino, and I am the Director of New Business Development for Women of the Flooring Business. And I'm excited today because you all know that the Bella Flooring Group is one of our sponsors. And today I have Paul Dominie, the president of Bella Flooring Group. And I also have Meghan Dominie, who was one of the designers for the new floor covering line. So, okay, let's go ahead. So Paul and Meghan, Paul, do you want to start out and just give us a little bit of who you are and how you got there?
Now, we've talked before. Been at Bella now. This is my second go around. If people don't know about Bella, we're a hard surface supplier for floor covering. Came in existence after the downfall of the Beaulieu Group. Several of us kind of formed a new company and we went forward. And I've been back since October, and we've really honed in on making sure that we're customer and female friendly, both in product and also in our hiring practices and how we develop our marketing campaigns. And so when we ran into each other in November of last year and saw what you guys were doing, we were very excited to be a part of supporting and growing this very needed segment in the industry, is supporting the opportunity and equality for women in the flooring business. So
yes, we're super happy to have you, and I've known you for a long time and know your talents. I just want to ask you one question, and I have to tell you to make it brief, because you and I could go on forever. But
and we've already been scolded about being.
Well, that's okay. But here's the thing. What does it take, Paul? Like in a minute, what does it take to keep going? I mean, you've been out there for 20 years and you work with companies, and then you get them in a certain level, you move on. And what does that take to keep up your enthusiasm and your excitement to keep that going? I'm sure everybody wants to know, how do we do that?
I love what I do. I love our industry, and being an interior designer myself, I've had to find ways to be plugged back in and get the passion. But creating and sharing knowledge now. This is my 34th year in this industry, and so it's just something that I love to do, and talking to people and helping them grow their business is on the top of the list. And I get the pleasure of being able to work with my wonderful wife and see her grow and develop. And what we talk about today is just fantastic, what she's done for our company and what she's going to do for the industry. I firmly believe that.
Terrific. So Meghan Dominie over here. Meghan, tell us, I'm so glad that you kind of joined Paul now in some ways, right? And taken over the part about adding your creativeness to their business. So give us a little bit about your background and why you decided to go where you are now. And I know you are president of EM. Is that EMD Flooring? Do I have that right?
Well, I have a couple of businesses. So I've been in the industry for about 15 years. For about a decade, I've owned Lux House Designs, which specializes in residential and commercial interior design. And then just recently, at a little over a year, I acquired a multifamily business, EMD Flooring.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
So the topic is USA-made stone polymer composite. So let's talk about that, Paul. What is that all about?
Well, that, we usually use the word SPC. That way you say, make it sounds very ominous and very important. Our stone polymer has been a central part of our business. And as we all have seen during COVID, there's been a lot of challenges and disruptions with the supply chain. We also know that making SPC on American soil has been a challenge for a lot of companies. So we finally found a company that we feel very confident in. We've watched their history. We've seen their goods and their bads, and they are now up and running, and we're very excited to be a part of them. And we'll talk more about the details of it in a minute. But making product on U.S. soil shortens our timeline from 16 to 24 weeks in best case scenario down to 2 or 3 weeks.
And we all know, based on what's going on in our world, that somehow or other we have got to be putting our processes on American soil, right?
Absolutely. For multiple reasons. I mean, creation of jobs, helping our economy, but also for more than anything, there's been so many stumbles and bumbles over the last year with people not being able to find and get product when they need it. And when I talk about 2 or 3 weeks, that's able to make a large mass of a product in a very short period of time.
Great. Meghan, talk to us about the design process in commercial and residential markets and what it took to come up with the 6 really lovely new designs.
Well, narrowing it down to 6 was difficult, but I really focused on what I felt like was missing in the marketplace. I feel like a lot of lines are really heavy warm or really heavy gray. I really wanted this line to be muted and have something for everyone. I feel like the grays aren't super gray, they're muted. The darks aren't ebony, they're just dark and beautiful. And getting back to those timeless colors that we've been seeing in America for 100 years, the grainings and the colors that really are timeless and are going to stand the test of time.
Well, how did you decide to come up with these 6 designs? What did you have to get rid of in order to do that? I'm reading that gray is kind of out. We've been doing the gray thing for quite a while now, and it overtook the beige thing that we did for 100 years. Now we did gray and now it sounds like we're going back more into the warmer, the brownish or the beige. Is that right?
Yeah, just those colors that we've been seeing forever. Those colors that when I walk into a house to remodel, we go, we're just going to refinish these floors. They're great. Not those drastic one end to the other, super light or super dark. It's really that homey, those colors that really want to invite you in, not so stark or cold or, just timeless design. I think that's really what the marketplace is wanting.
Right. Now we can do a sneak peek of the product. Is that right, Paul? And you can give us a little overview of the technical aspects.
And to piggyback on what Meghan was saying, one of the things that she said when we started curating this line was, she said, I like the distressing in certain venues, but I'm really over the distressing. Let's create a line that just has the natural characteristics of the product of the species, rather than somebody beat it with a hammer, or there's 40 different colors in one box.
Not everybody wants to look like they're living in a barn. That is a style, but it's not for everyone. It's not for the masses. That over distressed look that has been here for a little bit too long, I think.
Okay, well, it's always time for a change. So, Paul, you're going to talk a little bit about. You have more screens. Is there another one to show?
So we have 2 oaks in the line. We have 2 pines in the line. In fact, one of them is called aged pine, is one of the colors. And we try to make the simplicity of the line too of names that we can actually say. We love it when people get so creative that they name colors that you can't pronounce and people misplace it. So
like dishwasher.
We went back to things like exactly. So it's sort of like, one of the colors is bold, and it's a real deep, rich chocolate with a lot of gold undertones. And then we have one that's a lighter gray. That's bold right there. And then we've got one that's a lighter tone. We just called it clean because it's a clean look. One's called sunrise, which has got a lot of gold underneath it and warmth in a hickory type of look. So, these colors are very much timeless. And the line's called American Woodlands, and it really reflects what people used to do. Part of the other inspiration Meghan and I were talking about, we were talking about this old farmhouse that we saw, and the farmhouse had these very unique live edge floors in them. The house was over 100 years old. Well, what people used to do is whatever wood they had on their land is what they harvested, and that's what they put in their house. They made their furniture out of it. They made their floors out of it. They made their cabinets out of it. So you saw pines, you saw ashes, you saw oaks, you saw these different versions. based on where people lived and what they had accessible to them. And then we try to get cute and talk about, different lines, and there's nothing wrong with them. But what it does for us is it really brings us back to the heritage of the American traditions of colors and styles and species.
Well, do you think, this is kind of a sideline, but we're kind of back in America again. We really don't have a choice at this point, right? I mean, we have to do something. So I think that sounds like a very, a good name and a tremendous opportunity. Can you give us a little bit of the specs on these products?
Yeah, so we also want to build specs. We've always done 4 things on every one of our lines. Is number one, we use the best padding on that we can absolutely get our hands on, because we don't want failure from the pad. Or if you need to glue down your SPC, can you do it? With ours, 100% yes. That's one. Number 2, nobody ever talks about backing first, but we do, is the HD films. I can remember through the curation process with Meghan and others that were involved in this, and we really honed out the best looking films in the HD category in order to give you the look and the styling that you want. Number 3 is our finish. We're very specific about our finish. We want our finish to really not be the highlight of the floor, but allow the characteristics and the graining and the styling all to pop through clearly. And number 4, we want easy installation. So we use, licensed locking systems, especially that are designed for that caliber of a product. So they're a 7x48. It's a 5 millimeter total. So it's a 1 plus a 4, micro beveled edged, with the IXPE backing. So that's the specs.
Okay, so those are some selling points for the salespeople as they're out there on the floor. We talk about made in the USA, the consistency of the product, the stabilization of the core. How about availability? How are you doing with getting this together? I mean, must have been quite a feat to have to put a plant together and get this going, right?
It was. We're actually doing a soft launch late August, early September. We've already got major clients that are on board, and they're waiting for shipments of this already. And so we're going to do a soft launch throughout the fall and winter. And then our big, huge, here we go, is surfaces. So we will have almost 5 months. We'll almost have 5 months under our belt. Samples are ready, products ready. And again, the equation that we just kept going back to is we have put together format of what this is going to look like for purchases. And we've prepared 4 months extra of product at all times. So the timeline for us to turn around an order, like we said, if we don't have it in our hands, is 2 to 3 weeks max. That's max.
So right now you're going to be calling on dealers right now and getting orders together, and we figure the orders will go out in when are you figuring? Let's say you call on me now.
August, September, they'll start shipping. The orders will start shipping in August, September. So our full program, our full displays will be up and ready in late September. But like we said, we're already taking orders now on the product before we even have it out of the gate.
So does that mean that a lot of our women owners out there? So do you have a new racking? Is there a new racking system, or how are you presenting the products? How will they be doing that? In other words, on a couple different. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We're going to get a couple different modules for how we're going to display this. I've never been one to make it about the display. To me, it's about showcasing the product properly, and so that the average 5'2" woman can handle the sample. It really makes me giggle when these companies make these huge samples for showrooms, right, and that's what they want the ladies to carry out to the car, and like they have to go see a chiropractor after they take a couple samples to the car. So right, we're making it that way. And the other piece is all of our new lines have a QR code reader on the sample that takes them right to that line immediately, get all their information, cleanability, warranties, installation, boom, boom, boom. The other thing is we direct people to our website, which is bellaflooringgroup.com. And on that site, you have all the information, room scenes. You can look at a swatch of it. You can look at it in a room scene. We're working on a visualizer. That's probably a 2023 thing for us. But, you know, being able to see the product in its expanse in a room is great. And so, you know, BellaFlooringGroup.com gives you a lot of information. I say this jokingly, and now my wife's on the Zoom or with the recording with us, is, you know, I watch how she shops. She's your typical American female shopper. We get the kids to bed, or the kid to bed now. We're one down one. We get the dog settled, right? And then she gets on and orders groceries or buys a new dress or shops for flooring as she's laying in bed on her device. And we wanted to make that same experience on BellaFlooringGroup.com the same way, that a female can find information, get what she wants, and then she can send information to us, and we send it to our closest partner within the area. We don't have a dealer locator on our because that's a whole different conversation. But
Okay.
we take those leads and we push them to the local person in there. So the site's built for shopping, for you to be able to figure things out online.
We don't have much longer, but I just wanted, maybe you would just go through, just give us 3 points for people out there that have to sell this product. What would be the 3, you know, distinguishing features that, you know, are valuable to their customer? You only got a couple of minutes, Paul.
Well, Megan, to talk to you about how you developed it. You said something phenomenal the other day about, you said it wasn't built for a trend or a moment.
Right. I think, you know, this is going to be a display that a salesperson, and I started out in a flooring store, residential flooring store. This is going to be that perfect display that you can go and there's going to be something on there for everyone. And I think for a salesperson, that's amazing. You know, you're not having to, you can really hone your skills and really know all the specs about that product, take them there, and they're going to find something that they like. So I think that's super important, because a lot of the lines you find that they might have some really good warms or some really good cools, but then the rest of the stuff is garbage and ugly. This, everyone is a star. Like, everyone is great. So I think, I really wanted to design it that it had some versatility. And there's not really anything in there that's like crazy, you know, there's nothing in there that has embossed patterns on it, or, you know, everybody tries to get really fun. And I appreciate the creativity, but in a sales setting, you're not going to sell that to the masses. It's just not there. So I think, you know, that's probably, I'd say the best thing about this line is the versatility.
Well, the other thing is, if you look, no matter what product, what lines are out there, there are way too many products out there. Let's face it, anything you buy, you go online and try to buy something, and you get, by the time you get done looking at all the things out there, you know, you go, I can't figure it out anyway. So you just, you know.
Yeah, with my clients, I typically give them at max 4 samples to go home with, because
Perfect.
Otherwise it just becomes, so I think having a line that's really minimal just gives people the few choices that they need. They're going to find something in there they like, and they're not going to be overwhelmed and confused. And that's really what a woman shopper wants. You want to go in, you don't have a ton of time, most people, and you just want somebody to tell you what to do. And I think this line, you can't go wrong.
Perfect. And again, we're made in America, right? That's kind of a big deal. We need to go back to made in America, and you've really made that jump, Paul.
Right. And so that's one. Number 2 is, we've been able through our partnership to keep the cost of this down. Interesting is that most products that were made on American soil in this category have been out of bounds, so to speak, on the cost versus what they can get import. And there's been hundreds of studies about the American consumer will not pay more than 10% for anything, not just flooring, but anything in a category for it to be American made. So you can't get over that 10% threshold just to have the made in the USA on it. So the cost of it is right where it needs to be against the imports. And then the third thing that is huge, especially for the people that do commission sales. Let's just put the facts on the table. Lately, when people can't they can sell it, but they can't get it. They can't install it. The salesperson cannot receive their commission because they can't get it finished. They can't get paid. So here's a line that we know they're going to be able to get in 2 to 3 weeks, and then they can install it. And they don't have to wait 6 months. They don't have to wait 2 months. They don't have to wait 3 months for stuff. You know, when I travel around, I hear so many horror stories of people like, I'm still waiting for product from September. I'm like, what? I mean, what? So this is a key piece for us. We still import a lot, and we still have tons of inventory on what we import. But this was a piece to stop the madness on waiting so long for a great product.
That's terrific. Everybody out there, we're talking to Paul Dominie, who is president of the Bella Flooring Group, and also talking to Meghan Dominie, who has designed their new line out there. And the other thing is, take a look at Floor Covering News. The next couple of weeks, Paul and I did an interview about Made in America and why it's important. And like you said, Made in America is a good thing, but you still have to always deal with the customer and price, right? So that's where we're at. I don't know if there's any questions out there or any last things we want to wrap up.
Well, I'm just going to say one real quick thing is that, number one, we just signed a contract yesterday to do a major makeover show for someone who has disabilities, and more to come on that. This is exciting for us. And the key thing that they wanted was product that was made in America. And this is what we're going to be putting into their home. So that's coming. That will be launched at Surfaces also, that whole episode and the whole story behind that.
Now, Marjorie Benson from Friendly Floors in Florida wants you to call her. She's interested in the line, and so she'd like to see that soon. So you already got somebody out there that wants to.
I know Marjorie, and we will absolutely get a hold of her. So thank you for that.
Yeah, terrific. Thank you so much, both of you, for coming. Meghan, nice to see you in our industry, designing products and using that skill that you have and that really good eye on something new. And Paul, again, thank you so much. We'll see you both at Surfaces.
Yeah, take care, Liz. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.